Here on the Overanalyst channel. My name is Brady, and I'll be your host for the next couple hours at least. Today's stream might air just a smidge on the short side, depending on what I end up having on my schedule today. But we're good for at least 2 to 3 hours, I'd say. Give me just a moment here, folks, to catch my bearings and get a quick drink. Had a very long stream yesterday, and while I'm got quite a bit going on today, I do want to give you guys something today. Nearing the midpoint of the game as we are, or I'd say, shoot, maybe we're technically at the halfway point of the main game, DLC and the side content notwithstanding. So let me think of what we want to do real quick. Probably want to assign more runes, right? We've got the League rune, which will just increase, increase co-op HP. That's probably not super important. And forgive me, folks, if I'm a little off kilter today, or if I end up having to have a couple snacks. My blood glucose is a little out of whack today. Not entirely sure why. I've been trying to get more exercise in, much as I can, given quarantine state. And it may have had an effect on my insulin sensitivity overall, but that's not something super important to what we're doing here. Just saying, if I seem a little out of it today, that's the reason why. We already have the Lake rune, right? Assigned in memory slot 1. Memory slot 2... We're not going to use this because we'll get other special, like, blue or oath runes later on that'll be a bit more relevant to what we're doing. So we're gonna hold off on that. The sea runes increase our resistance, right? We can increase frenzy or slow poison, think poison from Dark Souls, resistance. Neither of those are super important right now. The air rune allows visceral attacks to grant more blood echoes, or visceral attacks, restore health. How much health do we have overall? Oh, 682, so that would mean a visceral attack would restore a lot of our stamina, or our, health. Okay. Another one that increases our... Sorry, the, metamorphosis runes would increase either our health by 5% or our stamina by 10%. I'm gonna go for max stamina for now, and maybe that third one will be Blood Rapture. This rune resonates with servants of the Queen, carrier of the child of blood, who yearn for their queen's blood with little hope of requitement. For them they find solace in blood rapture that serves as a surrogate for their desires. Okay. So that's a pretty solid little set of minor buffs we've got equipped for now. We can't upgrade our weapon any further. We need bloodstone chunks for that, and, well, no dice on coming upon any thus far. Do we have any... Oh yeah, we have plenty of cold blood we can use to level up, but I want to hold off on that. Let's level up with what we've got at the doll right now.
Very well, let me...
Oh, man, just one level, okay. Let's work on increasing our arcane to at least 15 or 20 so we can use quality artifacts once we get them.
Good hunt. May you find...
Notice the beautiful moon hanging above the Hunter's Dream, even though it appears very vaguely to be kinda sorta daytime here. Anything we really want from these guys? Not yet. I will be buying all this armor and showing it off, but not quite yet. We want to keep the insight we have right now so it allows us to see all of the cool little state changes that'll be present in Yharnam with it. Now, a couple things we want to do before we go to Bergenworth, which is right on the other side of the Shadows of Yharnam boss arena that we cleared yesterday. going to want to head to the Cathedral Ward, or no, yeah, the Cathedral Ward Chapel for now. Because there's a special area we can only access right now, and I think an NPC we can only access if we let one particular Snatcher technically kill us. Hey, Spanners, how's it going, man? Hope you're having a great day and getting ready for school to resume here in a couple weeks. I know it's nowhere near long enough for me. So I think if you recall on yesterday's stream, we saw that after we killed Vicar Amelia, one of the Snatchers, one of those grotesque hunters with the really powerful physical attacks and big old bloody sacks, took up residence here outside the chapel, right? So we're actually going to want to let this guy do a number on us, because if he does, like so, we gain access to a special area, I think. Sorry about the landscapers. They've already come by today, I thought. And in fact, they did. Yep. As you'll see now, they have... Spanner says, oh, I looked away and you died. No. That was intentional. If that one specific enemy kills us at this point in the game, we are transported to a special area we can't access for a little while otherwise. They're a special type of hunter that seeks specifically to abduct people like us and take us to this place. This is a totally separate city from Yharnam. This is Yahar'gul, the Unseen Village. And it's home to the third major, like, sort of pseudo-political faction in the game. And, like I said, the Healing Church, for all of the atrocities we can associate with them, are, at least relatively speaking, the good guys here. Yahar'gul's church or religious order is 1,000 times worse. As you can see, they don't have the world's greatest security here, but they kind of don't need it, because this area is home to... Oh, well, here we can actually find a member of the church. Spanner says tactical death. Yes, actually, that's exactly what it is. This is a member of Yahar'gul's religious order, the School of Mensis. The cage serves a purpose, believe it or not. I have no idea what these things are intended to do, though. You can hear some really unnerving chanting in the background. I love that, by the way. Got some cold blood and a message. Madmen toil surreptitiously in rituals to beckon the moon, uncover their secrets. Oh, well, if I can.
Oh, merciful God, help me.
Here's the NPC we can recruit.
Healing Church, cleanse us of this horrible dream.
She's a cleric of the Healing Church who, has been abducted and secreted away to Yahar'gul.
By your garb, the Healing Church, you've come to save me.
Oh yeah, she'll have like a more positive reaction to you if you're wearing church armor.
To express my relief.
And I guess even though Father Gascoigne wore a variation of the church garb from another country, it's still recognizable enough to her.
Sure to please an upstanding member of the church like you.
Madman's knowledge, yeah, that's a good gift for the donation basket.
Thank you so much. I was seized on the street by a hulking brute in the cathedral ward and locked up here. There were many others, but they've been taken away. And I've heard moans echoing in the distance ever since.
Again, this is the point in the game where the cosmic horror just kicks into full effect, and it's really cool. We've not seen hardly any of Yahar'gul, and in fact, in this little sojourn, I don't think we'll see any of the city itself. But believe me when I tell you, this area is really, really something.
So, the hunt is on tonight. Then the streets are perilous, and every door will be shut tight. Perhaps it isn't my place to ask, but do you know somewhere that might take me in?
Oh, absolutely. Just head right on over to Erden Chapel.
Oh, thank you.
You know, the
so
place you were
much.
abducted outside. That'll be perfectly
I'll
safe.
set out as soon as I can. I pray for success on your hunt, kind hunter.
So she will actually help us for a time back in, like, our base of operations. She's, I want to say, easily the least helpful NPC we've recruited overall, and my least favorite, ultimately. But she can help us out for most of the game's second act, I want to say. Spinner says, simply don't get abducted. Well, to be fair, the Snatcher, the guy that took us, is insanely powerful for the time in the game when we encounter him. I'm able to kill them, if only because I know their moveset, but they can kill most characters at this stage in the game in 2 hits. And they're insanely aggressive. They're very, very good at what they do. Hey, it's one of those bloodstone critters. You wouldn't happen to be dropping any chunks, would you? No, just twin shards. Still useful, though. So I think our lamp is up here. Oh, look at these statues. More inhuman creatures being, like, kind of lionized. Spanner says, easy solution, don't get hit. Now you sound like a Dark Souls fan. So we unlock this lamp here. Oh my god. Yeah, so this thing is what was being venerated in the Cathedral Ward's Grand Cathedral. We saw busts of this thing all around the place, but this is what its full body looks like. And god, it looks so cool, doesn't it? I love this entire church's little layout. So this lamp, this location I believe is called the Hypogean, or basically the underground jail. We can't get out of here. And the only way forward, Spanner says, no, this isn't a game, this is England, shot for shot. Well, it is based on, like, Victorian to, like, mid-20th century Gothic and cosmic horror. So yeah, we want to carry on. We're going to have to fight 2 Snatchers. Look at that damage. My god. Fortunately, they're not the hardest enemies in the world to parry, and if you parry them, yeah, it turns out like a blanket and a bag full of corpses doesn't do much in the way of defense. And right up the butt. Spinner says explore far enough and you find the bad creepypasta cast having a cottage pie. Oh, no, that'd be totally off-brand, because you see, elements of this game can actually be scary. This is not their territory at all. We got a special rune from that corpse in the middle of the floor, the moon rune. Acquire more blood echoes from slain enemies. Oh, that's great. A transcription of moon, as spoken by the great ones inhabiting the nightmare. The great ones that inhabit the nightmare are sympathetic in spirit, and often answer when called upon. Again, something important to keep in mind, and also a very interesting twist to this game's take on cosmic horror, is, like, the eldritch beings from beyond the stars that are indirectly responsible for a lot of this absolutely mean well and have everybody's best interests at heart. It's the people, the normal people of Yharnam and Yahar'gul, not using this power responsibly that's led to everything being in quite the state that it is. Oh, you... Oh, they set up an ambush. That's clever. So these old women, made deliberately to resemble the witches of Hemwick, can gouge your eyes out. If you remember, the Witch of Hemwick had a cloak lined with eyes, which plays a very key role in, like, sort of the cosmic theology of this game. People take seeing the truth quite seriously in Yharnam, and so a lot of them attempt to gather or even grow more eyes so they can see more of the world as it really is. Spanish says, I think Matt streamed this once, actually. Oh, wow. He's got good taste, then. This is an absolutely fantastic game. Here we've got, like, some Yharnam hunters who have been abducted. And are largely harmless, it would appear. But give Boku blood echoes. Yeah, every one of them gives, like, just shy of 320. That is good stuff. There is actually a boss we can fight here. And this will be the earliest in the game I've ever fought it. Typically, I come back through here when we access Yargul proper and just demolish it. But I feel like I could at the very least give it the old college try. First, I want to try to determine, like, where the boss is and where, like, just extra treasures and the like are. These are actually probably the most dangerous enemies on the whole because of their grapple attack, but they do drop eyes for us, which we will need later on. Oh no, I was wrong. We do get to see a bit of Yargul. It's, not exactly the most pleasant place in the world, but it looks very fitting for, like, a cramped eldritch city. Imagine Yharnam with more explicit, like, Cthulhu worship, and even less proper, like, infrastructural upkeep. So the boss is definitely through here, past all the snatchers. They are like something out of a slasher movie, I think. Like, right down to the way they move, that pace, that gait. It's so unnerving, I love it. Fortunately, it looks like, actually, now that I'm taking the time to learn it, parrying them is pretty damn easy. Upgrade materials? Oh, alright. Still not the ones we need for the cane, but it'll make upgrading any other weapons we get and want to try out much easier. We already took care of him, right? Okay. Oh, so our boss is right through here. Nice. And that great big door across the courtyard is the back way into Old Yharnam, that giant sealed gate we saw during our initial run-through. There's an NPC we can summon in for the fight here. Defector Antal, but I'm gonna try this on my own. Again, I've never fought this boss at this stage of the game, so I have no idea how well I'm going to do. Typically, by the time I come through here, it's really easy to wound, and so I can just keep it collapsing in on itself over and over again, and it kind of can't do anything, but we're gonna see how this goes. So see that giant mass of fur in the center of the courtyard? Looks kind of like the unfortunate remains of, like, Sonic the Hedgehog after the past generation. Well, we're gonna get a bit closer and find this is not the remains of Sonic, but oh no, the remains of a Sonic shoe. This is Dark Beast Pearl, and he's our first major electricity-based boss. Hurts like hell, pretty fast, but, as it happens, he's also very fragile. Oh my god. Can we carry you? No, we cannot. Nope. So the thing is, if you deal enough damage to any of its limbs, it will collapse. And I don't mean like Vicar Amelia, where it'll give you a couple free shots. I mean it falls apart. And you can kind of keep it locked in like a damage feedback loop that way. Like so. It also loses its electricity temporarily. Doesn't mean it's helpless, of course, but... Can you be, like, riposted? I guess not. And there we go again. As you can see, things get much easier once we actually take him down the first time. Got it! So, yeah, much harder than it is later in the game, as you'd expect. But still not too bad. Deals damage like you wouldn't believe, is very, very intimidating, like physically, with those electrical currents dancing along its fur, causing it to stand up and kind of wave out along. Very, very imposing boss, kind of aesthetically. But as long as you just pick one limb and keep wailing on it, and keep in mind, I'm using, like, probably the lightest, weakest weapon in the game. If you had, like, a strength weapon, this would be game over, provided you could connect. Just pick a limb, keep wailing on it. You can keep the thing collapsing and reconstructing itself through most of its health bar. I did notice that toward the back half of the fight, instead of just, like, swiping with its claws, it was able to, like, send out, like, straight lines of electrically charged energy, or like little shockwaves or things like that, giving it some ranged options, but it also was less potent, or less aggressive in melee, so, yeah, not a tough boss overall. Fun, really cool, and it's interesting. I love the idea of being defeated by a specific type of enemy, and taken to a secret area early, where you could fight this boss way ahead of schedule. And again, if we were to do all that before going to Old Yarnum, we could work our way back through the city streets and treat with Jura peacefully instead of having to throw him off the clock tower. But where's the fun in that? We also got another badge from Dark Beast Pearl, the Spark Hunter badge. Badge crafted in secret by Archibald, the infamous eccentric of the Healing Church, for his friends. Archibald was fascinated by the blue sparks that emanate from the hides of the dark beasts. You know, like Pearl, or that blind beggar that transformed into a giant electrostatic werewolf in the Forbidden Woods, and dedicated his life to its artificial reproduction, in a style of inquiry that, incidentally, closely followed the methodology of Bergenworth. I think this allows us to buy a consumable item that is the electrical equivalent to our fire paper. Bolt paper. It allows us to buy bolt paper. I think. And unlocks the Tonitrus, the mace weapon for us. And that is all we need from Yargul for the time being. A nice little aside to an area we'll be seeing again very, very soon. This game, again, like the base game, compared to the Dark Souls titles, really isn't that long, I don't think. Yeah, the Tonitrus, but the thing is, we need more strength for almost anything. We might want the Tonitrus at some point, though. I will say that.
Welcome.
Let's pick up another level.
Very well.
Oh, 2 more levels. My bad. How about 1 more arcane and 1 more strength. We're gonna need to start building that strength.
Farewell, good heart. May you.
Okay, that done. I guess there's nothing really left for us to do right now. Well, no, we probably want to head to the Cathedral Ward to speak to the nun, or the cleric we rescued. And then we will tackle, Bergenworth. Unless, I'm gonna look up real quick where to find one thing that I've noticed we are missing. But, hold on. Alright. Oh, okay. No, my bad. So it turns out this locked door over here opens automatically once we defeat the blood-starved beast in Old Yarnum for some reason. And there's a little side area we can explore down there, which is exactly what we're going to do in a moment. But now we can speak with, the cleric.
Brave hunter, you're alive. Thank you very much.
We get a gesture, nice.
But there are still people here. Together we await the help of the healing church. I cannot.
I really don't think it's coming, ma'am. I mean, I'm wearing healing church vestments. That's close, right? And she's also going to give us her blood. Sure. Oh no, we've already got our other friend's blood.
Have you? Oh, please.
Okay, so... Right, okay, so we can get her blood or her blood. They each have slightly different effects and are more potent than our standard blood vial, but I think we can only get one at a time.
Oh, there you are. You're Emily, dear. Is anything the matter? You can always tell me. Mother will make everything better.
Meanwhile, this poor old woman is starting to crack under the stresses of everything that's going on in the town tonight.
Anything you'd like to tell me?
I have my share of woes.
Oh, boy. You poor thing. But don't you worry. This will help you forget. Forget your troubles. Forget your cares.
And in proper Victorian style, she gives us a sedative, a powerful opiate to treat all of our problems. Lovely. That actually will be useful later on, don't worry. This guy have anything new for us?
Beware the Lady of the Night. I can see it in her eyes. She deeply resents the young saint. She hears people whisper. She knows what people think of her. Yes. She despises the saint for having what she doesn't. Bloody wench, they should have moved her on ages ago.
And he's got that exactly backwards. Ariana doesn't hate the cleric, but the inverse is true.
Oh, the hunter. Alive and well at that. Another one you sent made it here safe and sound. This place is a haven now for so many. Thanks to you. I'm overjoyed, really, that you'd even give me the time of day. I don't suppose there's anybody out there worth saving anymore, but you did all you could. And so many...
Yeah, we got everybody we could except for the beggar, who would have started eating people if we sent him over here.
Because you're you. Makes me think...
It's nice to see that even in a world this kind of decrepit, our actions still matter and we can still affect the world in a positive way.
This, you see. You've made life easier. Thank you. If you please, when the night of the hunt passes, suppose...
I love this person. They just want to have friends. That's all they care about in the middle of all this. It's really endearing.
I know I hardly deserve it, but... well... I had to just ask, you know, out of line. Yes, perhaps so, but, well, give it a thought. If you wouldn't mind, of course.
Oh, of course we can be friends. That's what we're here for, making friends and killing anything that doesn't want to be friends. So this little side area takes us to a lift, which we can use to access sort of an offshoot of the Cathedral Ward, a very, very short sub-area. Populated by some of my favorite enemies. It's a variant of the old wheelchair man with a chain gun. I love these guys, and we'll see quite a few of them in this area. Or, well, the old men at any rate, with various firearms. But here we have the Communion Rune, which does what exactly? Higher blood vial maximum lets us hold one more blood vial. We can hold 20 to begin with. That's not super important yet. Several runes relate to blood, including communion, which increases the maximum number of blood vials one may carry. This rune represents the healing church and its ministers. Blood ministration is, of course, the pursuit of communion. Yeah, but communion with what? That's the problem. So, that tower... we want to get past all of the gunmen present on the balconies and get into the tower. We're back to fighting the good old Yarnum hunters for a bit here. After dealing with Yargle's people, that's actually something of a relief. Now, there are plenty of them here in... oh, notice, we're at the Healing Church Workshop, which, for the record, yes, is that workshop, the one that's alluded to in all of the item descriptions. The one that supplied, like, most of the hunters. Or most of the hunters we've encountered, anyway. Oh, hello, you might have Bloodstone. Twin shards, okay, we do want to head down there at some point, I think. This area is home to the obligatory Soulsborne, like, awkward pseudo-platforming descent area. Or descent puzzle, I guess you could call it. But first things first, we need to climb the tower. And given the ubiquity of gunmen here, this might be just a little tricky. Well, we got the biggest problem out of the way. There we go. Gotta love the whip. There are more chests here than almost anywhere else in the game, I want to say. Blood-tinged gemstone. That one looked different. Kind of bluish instead of the red or, in one case, gold we've seen up to this point. There's one of the old men with a chain gun. Accompanied by a friend with a cutlass. And an ogre. Okay. Oh no, ogres. Just gonna wait out here. Come on. There we are. And yeah, fortunately these guys seem to have stats scaled just for the Cathedral Ward, so they're pretty frail. I mean, as dangerous as anything else. Oh my god. As dangerous as just about anything else due to their damage output, but frail, at least. Here's an old man with a proper rifle instead of a blunderbuss. There's one more variant of old man I think we can find. Maybe in this area? You gotta keep our eyes on, or gotta remember that ladder. That's the way to more treasure, but first we gotta collect the treasure in here. Blood vials, nice. Bullets, very nice. Notice all, like, the trick weapons just hanging from the ceiling. Clearly they had a pretty well-stocked armory here, right? Almost to the top, and then after climbing to and scouring the top, we're going to repeat this act for the bottom of the tower. Which is where, like, the real good stuff is. Hello? Oh, more cold blood. Great. Now notice that old man was not exactly normal. He has a crow's head. Oh. Old man with a flamethrower. There's the last variant. And yeah, he has... Is that a crow's head or a No, it's a... Well, he has, No, they're masks. They are masks. I think you can find some later in the game that actually do have, like, the crow's heads. We got the Radiant Sword Hunter badge for Ludwig's successors. The Radiant Sword indicates the heirs to the will of Ludwig. These hunters, also known as Holy Blades, are what remains of an ancient line of heroes that date back to a very early age of honor and chivalry. This unlocks at least one new weapon and maybe an armor set? Don't know. We can't open this door yet. We will be able to much later in the game. Now, though, now we're going to, like, really risk our necks trying to climb down to the bottom of the tower. If you're a slightly more strength-oriented build than I am, which is not very prohibitive, that would apply to most characters in this game at this point, the Radiant Sword Hunter badge is really, really good. Okay, yeah, you guys have seen this before in the other Soulsborne games. You know how this goes. Really perilous, rickety, don't even want to say platforming as much as it is a series of drops. With some perilously placed treasures designed to tempt you into placing yourself on even more perilous terrain. And this one, hell, I just might go for. Oh, a messenger top hat. Well, that was certainly worth it. Nothing beats a classy messenger. Now that's where we want to end up, ultimately, down there. Is there a ladder here to help us back up, pray chance? No. So that was purely optional to get the top hat, and we have to go back up, then back down to get to the door. Well, okay. Might as well try this, eh? Madman's knowledge. Nice. Yeah, I'd probably lose it too if I landed over here. No, wait. There's more. Made it. Some kind of beastie down there. We can land on top of the furniture. Nice. Oh. You're a big one. Kung Fu werewolf. Flame-throwing Kung Fu werewolf. I very vaguely remember you guys from the first time I played this game. There are not many of these. Like, at all. Oh, and we get the Beast Rune for defeating it. Oh, and we land in the Cathedral Ward, the residential area. Oh, look who it is. No, this isn't. This is a different area, maybe? Have I ever even been here before? No, I'm pretty sure this is the Cathedral Ward residential area. It's just got slightly different enemies now. There we go, that's got him good and angry. Once more. There we go. Well, let's try to work our way back around to the chapel from here. Wait, have we been here? New armor, technically. It's like the Yarnum Hunter's hat and suit, but yeah, guys, I honestly don't think we've been here before. We haven't. I may have never been here before in any of my playthroughs. In fact, I remember fighting one of those fire, like, spewing kung fu werewolf things, but I don't remember fighting it there. I remember fighting it as part of the side content. So yeah, this is all new to me, probably.
What do you say, friend?
What they say?
A night of curses. A night to remember. What do you say?
Okay, so they're just totally far gone. Nothing that can help us. Anything else a note down here? Oh god, it goes even deeper. And that's a brain sucker, isn't it? Yes, it is. The thing we got it before it could do anything. Seriously, those things are damn near one-hit kills if they manage to grapple you. We got a fire blood gemstone, applies a fire effect to your weapon, I suppose. And that may be it down here in this weird little side area. I don't remember seeing hunters wearing this particular uniform anywhere else in the game. It looks almost like Vulture's constable's uniform, right? I mean, I know it's not the same exact set, but it looks similar. Huh. Where on earth is this gonna spit us out? Oh, is this that little ledge overlooking? Yeah. Nice. So we got some cold blood out of the bargain. I want to try to get my blood echoes back from the Snatcher that we got to kill us in order to take us to Yargle. And he should be right down here. Yep. There's the glowing eyes. He's definitely our man. There we go. And we got all those blood echoes back, 7,500 plus. Oh, yeah, right. We've got enough insight to see these things now. So, remember the being that was being venerated in Yargle, and that is depicted in all the statuary around the Grand Cathedral? Turns out it's right here. This is amygdala. Yes, named after that part of the brain which controls emotional and fear responses. For a reason. They pronounce it amygdala, but it's spelled the exact same way and the symbolism is evident, so I'm going to say amygdala. It did not just show up here. It's been here the entire time. We just now have enough insight, I think it's 40, must be like the cutoff, to actually see it. We can't do anything to harm it. It's one of the great old ones, and it's just hanging around here. It's been here the entire game. What a gross but really cool looking thing. You want to know how I know it's been here the whole time? Hold on. Because it was the source of that weird vortex that would come sweeping through the area. Aside from, like, just reaching for us, it doesn't actually do much of anything. It's just there, hanging out. We can't do anything to it. It doesn't do anything to us. Unless we, like, wander right in the path of its hands. It's just there to further drive home the point that, Yharnam is a really screwed up joint. Now, though, heading back to the workshop once more, we're actually going to reach that old sealed-off door that was near the bottom, but not actually at the bottom of the tower. Because from there, we can access, I think, another lamp, and some special goodies you can't find anywhere else that are pseudo-secret. Now this time we gotta keep an eye out for the ladder. Let's see if we can't spot the exact path we need to take from over here-ish. Or no, not a ladder, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. That's what we need to land on. How exactly are we gonna do this? We could try this. Oh no. That's a little too chancy. So maybe... Maybe just, like, roll off and hope for the best? Yeah, take a step forward, they say. Made it! Good advice, thank you. You've come to the right place. That we have, that we have. Now the door. Whew! We have made it through the worst. Now check out what's on the other side of this. A really, really cool secret. One more tunnel, and down at the end of it, the abandoned old workshop. Which, might look a little familiar. Yes, friends, it's the Hunter's Dream, or rather, it's the location the Hunter's Dream is based off of. Minus the headstones and other weird elements, this is the place Gurman decided to model the Hunter's Dream after, or something did at least. And look, it's the doll's outfit. In the same place that, the Bath Messengers would be, normally. Now, the garden isn't here, like the little gated-in garden over to the right of the Hunter's Dream, but the rest of the geography seems to be intact. We got the old hunter bone, which I think allows us to access the DLC, maybe? Let me see. Oh, no, this is the artifact that I love to use. Never mind. The bone of an old hunter whose name is lost. It's said that he was an apprentice to old Gurman and a practitioner of the art of quickening, a technique particular to the first hunters. It is most appropriate that hunters, carriers of the torch who were sustained by the dream, would tease an old art from his remains. So, this means, I believe, our rolls and quick steps are not only made faster, we also kind of like, quote-unquote, teleport through them. We turn invisible for a few frames or something like that, I want to say. That effect is more useful for PvP than anything, which isn't exactly thriving in this game, and never was, but, the way artifacts in this game work is they consume a certain amount of Quicksilver bullets per usage. As long as you got the bullets, you can keep renewing those buffs or effects indefinitely. Like the Beast Roar only uses 2 bullets per use. The Old Hunter Bone uses a pretty significant 4. But if you just use it once or twice per, say, like, major boss battle, it's perfectly fine. You won't chew through too many bullets. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that sucker in our quick select slots, and get rid of the antidotes and fire paper for now. We got a hair ornament. A small plain hair ornament. Although it has been lost for quite some time, one can still see signs of the care with which this tasteful ornament was once kept. Its color would stand out most brilliantly against a head of grayish hair. Well, only one person I can think of who'd appreciate that. We got 1/3 of an umbilical cord. Actually, believe it or not, an essential item we need to get the best or most complete ending. And here, we have an abandoned doll. It's not alive like ours was, or is, apparently. This is, I suppose, what the doll is based on, or our doll is based on. So this is just a very interesting area in the lore to give you an idea as to what, or where the hunters come from, where a lot of these seemingly strange elements in the Hunter's Dream actually come from and what their significance is. This was the place whence a lot of the Hunter's best weapons and operatives and things like that were produced in the golden age of the hunt in the Healing Church. Abandoned now, though it is. So now if we head back to the Hunter's Dream, we can give the ornament to the doll, which you might get like a blood gem for, but really it's just a nice thing to do for one of the few NPCs who's been genuinely kind and honest with us consistently. But then, finally, it's time to tackle Bergenworth.
What is it you desire? What? What is this? I can't remember. Not a thing, only I feel a yearning, something I never felt before. What's happening to me? Tell me, Hunter. Could this be joy?
It's the first time in her very lonely existence, especially with someone like Gurman being stuck in here with you. It sounds like somebody's ever done anything genuinely kind or selfless for her. So we get the Tear Stone as a gift.
What is it? Hunters have told me about the church, about the gods and their love.
I love her voice actress's performance here.
Do the gods love their creations? I am a doll created by you humans. Would you ever think to love me? Of course. I do love you. Isn't that how you've made me?
Again, her characterization and story is very, very sad. And kind of gives us some indications early on that Gurman, despite being a friend of Hunter's, is not the best guy overall. He's really, really not. We'll get strength up to maybe 15 or something like that, just so I can use weapons a little heavier than arcane. And with that, we will head to the Forbidden Grave. Time to take on Bergenworth, which again is really quick and followed up with, usually, for me, one of the harder bosses in the game. Alright, back in the boss arena for the Shadows of Yharnam. We continue on into this forest glade just a bit. See more lamps lighting our way, and also a student of Bergenworth. These weird fly abominations. They're like, I guess, the closest thing to normal humanoid enemies we're going to be fighting in and around Bergenworth, and I think that like little dive it was trying to do is either a very powerful physical attack or a very powerful grapple. But that aside, these guys don't have a whole lot going for them aside from some surprising resilience. So let's just carry on past these interesting lamp or lantern sconces that seem to be carved in the likeness of our messengers, and several grotesque statues carved in the likeness of, well, some of them appear to be amygdala, but others are like tortured, tormented humans, looking not dissimilar to those we found afflicted by the curse in Old Yharnam, right? Oh, the Tear Stone, right, we want to use this. Used to change into a droplet blood gem that fortifies any weapon. A doll sheds neither blood nor tears, and thus its nature remains unknown. Whoever thinks this is precious must be troubled by severe naivete. Now that's cute. We get the Tear Blood Gem as a result. What does that do exactly? Oh, gives us a very weak, constant regeneration effect. Nice. And the umbilical cord we might want to get some info on real quick. A great relic, also known as the Cord of the Eye. Look at it, Jesus. Every infant Great One has this precursor to the umbilical cord. Every Great One loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. The third umbilical cord precipitated the encounter with the pale moon, which beckoned the hunters and conceived the hunter's dream. In other words, the Great Ones were here before the hunt began, or some other force began to orchestrate the hunt to quell the Great Ones and their progeny. Used to gain insight, and so they say, eyes on the inside, though no one remembers what that truly entails. Well, the folks in Bergenworth were trying to gain insight, and they, like the witches of Hemwick, for instance, took the eye metaphor maybe a bit too far. Eyes are a really prominent theme in the game's design from here on. And like that, well hey, we get a new lamp. And we have arrived at Bergenworth College. This building right here, this and a tiny little jaunt around the grounds are all that there is to the next level. It's a very brief but impactful area, and one that I think is really well designed. Unlike the forest, maybe, it doesn't go on a bit long for my taste. It's as I said, very, very short, actually. Provided we know what we're doing. Which... No, no, no! That is a grapple! No! Oh, it's frenzying me. Oh, that's gonna hurt. We're good, though. We're good. They do drop sedatives, which actually reduce frenzy buildup. Something we might want later on. They're quite fond of that grapple attack, but that's because, other than that, they don't really have anything special, I don't want to say. There's a gate over here we'll have to open later. Right, look at that beautiful moon. Seriously, FromSoft absolutely killed it with environmental design here, and like, as gorgeous as like Yharnam and Yargul and their architecture are, I think these more remote, like, natural settings really demonstrate what they can do when it comes to environmental design. Hey, got it. Oh, but it stunned me too, damn it. Got it. There aren't a ton of these around, I don't want to say. Even though they're the most common enemy here, there, well, aren't really a ton of enemies here. There's a brain sucker somewhere, I want to say. At least one brain sucker. Yeah, there it is. Instead of tentacles in the mouth, we got to give a hand in the butt. That is a decent trait in my mind. Look at that beautiful mist-shrouded lake. Oh, and the reflection of the moon on the surface of the lake, my god. How gorgeous. And I think just the stunning environmental design here is further accentuated, really helped by the fact that this isn't the most hectic, encounter-laden stage. It's kind of disarmingly serene. And that's because, again, this is more a plot-based area than a gameplay-intensive one. They don't flinch quite as easily as a lot of human foes did. Oh, now this thing, this giant, bizarre, like, eldritch centipede tree-looking thing, actually can cast some pretty decent magical... Can we even call them magical spells, or otherworldly spells? And it also has health like you wouldn't believe. It doesn't respawn, though, I don't think. There may just be the one here. You weak to fire by chance? Whoops, not like that you ain't. Or maybe we have to, like, hit the lure specifically? Yeah, fire did a fair amount, but probably better to just wail on it with my cane. I don't even want to know what that does if it connects. There we go. And it kind of just vanishes into an eldritch vortex spawned by the lore. That's not creepy at all, right? I can afford to be a little liberal with bullets here because we cannot backstab or parry this next boss at all. We just have to deal damage to it the old-fashioned way. Sedative. Quite a few of them, actually. We're not gonna need those for the boss fight, thankfully. Let's use this fairly decent-looking lever. It's held up well over the many years the school has laid abandoned, to open up the shortcut gate. And from there we can access the school proper. It's got, I want to say, just 3 stories, and we can clear it pretty easily. Okay, that door's locked. There is one NPC opponent in there for us. A healing church representative, I think. And they're pretty tough. They actually fight with a cane just like us. But them aside, I want to say there's nothing more than a couple more terrifying flymen in there. And now we got the next increment of, or the next step up from a madman's knowledge when it comes to insight gain, the Great One's wisdom. Fragments of the lost wisdom of the Great Ones, beings that might be described as gods. At Bergenworth, Master Willem had an epiphany. We're thinking on the basest of planes. What we need are more eyes. Indeed, indeed. And that led to a whole bunch of problems for old Yarnum. As you can see, this actually looks like a pretty standard, you know, at least television set of a Victorian-era university. We got the Pearl Slug, which is that a consumable or a material? Yeah. Hold on, sorry, my controller died. 1 minute. There we go. Sorry about that. Now the NPC should be on us at some point. We want to open this door up real quick, first things first. Get those shortcuts established. There's plenty of treasure in here, but oh, there they are. She's got a lot of health, like, a lot of health. She's also got... I don't think it's a flamethrower, but... Oh, she's using relics, too. So it's gonna be really hard to parry you, isn't it? Or is it even possible? Well, at the very least, we've got this with our cane. We will also definitely be heading back to base before fighting the boss, so don't worry about me being undersupplied going into the fight. Oh, that's a call beyond. And it killed us. Yeah, that is a very... I want to say that's the most powerful artifact in, like, the base game. It sends out a ridiculous number of homing projectiles. And both of the artifacts she was using, that and then the one that caused the tentacles to, like, shoot out at medium range. Oh, we do not have a lot of blood vials left. That could be bad. Both of those artifacts are associated with a boss who doesn't show up for quite some time. And again, look at the damage. The damage and the health on this woman. Now, if this were just a good old-fashioned dust-up, we'd have a pretty decent shot here, but with those crazy artifacts of hers... Yep, here it comes. One shot with that killed me. One shot that somehow made it up over the barrister. I don't remember her using that at all. Maybe that's to disincentivize you, like, retreating to heal? Maybe? Jeez, I may not... I definitely remember this fight, but I don't remember her using that. I do remember the tentacle artifact being used here, but... How am I running low on blood vials? That is very, very bad. Jesus Christ! Yeah, they made this fight harder from launch, I think. I want to say I got her my first try. Again, like with the playthrough I recall, or on the playthrough I recall most clearly, which was right at launch, they had to have rebalanced some things, because good God, this is hard. And it's weird, right, that like like with Jura, the humanoid enemies, or the human enemies, are the ones with just ridiculous health pools and not bosses or anything like that. At least we can, like, dodge through the whip more or less easily. Now we can interrupt her use of a Call Beyond if we, like, get right on it and actually manage to stun her, but that is admittedly a pretty big if. She's very fond of using that. The bellows in her offhand is called a Rose Marinus, and I honestly totally forget what it does. Damn you to hell! Wow. What on earth? She's, going by her armor like a member of the Healing Church leadership. And I can understand why they would be here, like, because of the conflict with the Bergenworth College administration. But, well, no, in fact, I think she's an assassin or something. Yeah, lots of encouraging messages warning us. Well, let's do something real quick. Let's make our weapon just a little bit more frightening. Fire probably would have been better, but honestly, I'd like to save my last fire paper if we can. No, 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 no! Just a minute, folks. I will have to take a break right after this attempt, come what may. I was getting a call that I'll definitely need to respond to in a moment. There we go. No, sorry, 1 second. Well, we managed. And she dropped a bunch of blue elixirs. Not gonna be super useful for us in the immediate future. But, like, it's a consumable item that I think raises your defense or attack temporarily or something like that. At a cost, of course, but... We got the Bergenworth student uniform, which I'm actually going to put on. It looks quite nice. Uniform of the students of Bergenworth, a bygone institute of learning, features a thick cape. The Healing Church has its roots in Bergenworth and naturally borrows heavily from its uniform design. The focus not on knowledge or thought, but on pure pretension, would surely bring Master Willem to despair, if only he knew. We got that, and then the trousers, right? Yeah, this looks spiffy. I love, like, the coat. Coat? Robe? Shawl? When the red moon hangs low, the line between man and beast is blurred, and when the great ones descend, a womb will be blessed with child. Yeah, and that's gonna create some problems from Yharnam, believe you me. For Yharnam, I should say. Now, up here in the... There we go, that's what we needed. We got the Lunarium key, which will allow us to access the balcony in back of the college. Key to the Lunarium facing the lake on the second floor of Bergenworth College. In his final years, Master Willem was fond of the lookout, and the rocking chair he kept there for meditation. In the end, it is said, he left his secret with the lake. Willem being the man ultimately responsible for a lot of this finding its way into Yharnam. Both through Bergenworth itself and through, like, its splinter faction, the Healing Church. There's one more of these guys. No! 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 I dodged right into the chest, didn't I? I'm dead. Bloodborne is rough, y'all. It's a really good game, but it's, compared to the others in the series, Dark Souls 3 included, it is relentless. Guess that also is offset slightly by the fact that it's, again, comparatively pretty short. Thankfully, the church assassin doesn't respawn. She's gone for good. And that may be the worst encounter with an NPC hunter we have to have in the base game, I want to say. There might be one a bit later on that comes close, but nothing quite that intense. Down it goes, and while it flails about, let's see what's in the chest real quick. The empty phantasm shell. This, I think, is one of the artifacts that the assassin was using. Either that or it's a different artifact. It does something useful, I just... Typical Brady, I can't remember what exactly. Give me my echoes, thank you. What does the empty phantasm shell do? Oh, it applies arcane power to the weapon, so it's like a temporary magic buff. Empty invertebrate shell that is said to be a familiar of a great one. The Healing Church has discovered a great variety of invertebrates, or phantasms as they're called. Shells with slime still harbor arcane power, and can be rubbed on weapons to imbue them with their strength. This is, I want to say, the easiest way to get, like, actual magic damage on your melee weapon. Like, just any melee weapon. If we open the Lunarium key, we will find a nearly empty balcony, save for Master Willem and his rocking chair. Provost Willem, I should say. He's, seen better days, as you can tell. If we talk to him... He gives us some insight, I believe. And he, like, just points forward, points out to the little promontory over the lake. Notice that he appears to be, like, overgrown with some kind of fungus or crystallization. He's not exactly himself anymore, and I think I've seen, like, on his character model before, like his feet are also like coated in some kind of fungus or otherworldly substance. Have they found that before? No, I want to say they did. Like, we can't see his hands for starters. If we look at his face, he's yeah, really the worse for wear. But first things first, we are going to need. Oh no! It looks like the tree does respawn. We're going to need some more blood vials, and a lot of them. So we're going to head to Central Yarnum to farm like there's no tomorrow. That'll bring us up to the boss, and then unfortunately, guys, I am going to have to go because I do have quite a bit of work to do today. But that'll get us on into the last major world state we'll have to fight our way through, and should serve as a really solid sort of denouement for capstone for this little series of streams. I may or may not be on tomorrow, because of, again, all the work that's piled up, but should be shortly thereafter, so give it a couple days, and we'll be back with you.
Afraid I can't say that I have. The locals aren't apt to share any local history. I'm afraid.
We're nearing the end of Gilbert's quest line, or what passes for one. Suffice to say, he's got little of use to us from here on out, due to no fault of his own. Right, so we're just going to farm these guys and, like, the ogres for some blood vials. That is the one downside of having strictly consumable recovery items, is sometimes you'll just kind of be forced to farm them like this. And a lot of enemies aren't exactly just obliged, or, guaranteed to drop them, either. There's one. Get some bullets while we're here, why not? It seems like the bullets are a guaranteed drop while blood vials practically never are. Well, no, I think they may be guaranteed drops from creatures like the ogres or the lichens up on the bridge. That might be a decent place to go farming. There we go. Bullets, and that's all. And a Molotov, so everything but what we need. That's... well, it'll all be useful eventually, I guess. There we go. Oh, he got one for us? There we go. The guys with the shields tend to drop them fairly frequently, I find. Oh, that damage. So good. So good. Now we can cut this guy down in no time flat. Check that out. I wasn't planning to burn so many blood vials on the church assassin. That's the problem. If we don't get a bunch of vials here, I do have an idea as to how we can acquire some in short order. Short of, like, wasting echoes to buy them, of course. That is just a waste of good old experience right there. Bloodstone. Some blood vials, good. Better than nothing, but I think we will take that alternate path to getting our hands on some vials. Meaning we won't actually be fighting the Bergenworth boss today, most likely, but we will get to see some other cool new stuff. Sorry the stream's going to be relatively uneventful, but, well, I'll get to show off a cool new mechanic at the very least. So we've got 10 out of 20, that's not bad, honestly. Right, so we need blood vials. We're not quite ready for the Bergenworth boss yet, so why don't we make use of that chalice we found earlier? You know, the one that can be used to construct special dungeons? Use the ritual altar to create a chalice dungeon with a chalice ritual, or search for chalice dungeons created by others. Wait, maybe those are the randomized ones, this one isn't. No, those are that's the randomized one. These are presets. So there's 4 different sort of tile sets, I guess, or 4 different types of dungeons. Thumeru, Hintertomb, Loran, and Eyes. The only one we have access to currently is the basic Thumeru chalice. And in order to access this dungeon, we need 1,000 blood echoes, which we've got, and 2 helpings of really basic 1 strength ritual blood. Now, if we conduct this ritual, we'll be able to access the chalice dungeon, which has, I think, 3 distinct layers, and each of which has, like, a pretty interesting boss. So this is a way we get to see a lot of enemies, locations, some gear, and bosses that aren't found in the main game at all in these special chalice dungeons. So we're gonna go ahead and consume the materials necessary to set this thing up. And we can begin in the Chamber of the Seal. In the Thumerian Labyrinth. Is this the right one I'm thinking of? Yeah. Okay. They've just added some additional UI elements to that little menu. Originally, it was just the location of lamps you could warp to. Now remember, Thumeru is like this great ancient city that's been long buried for ages. So we're going to be rooting around its ruins, chopping down some enemies, and hopefully getting us some blood vials. Now, a lot of the enemies in these dungeons are totally unique to the Chalice dungeons. Though we will be seeing some familiar faces. Welcome to the Thumerian Labyrinth. I really, really love its look. Now here's how it works. we're going to be looking for a boss door, and I think a switch we have to pull, or a bell we have to ring or something, to actually unlock the boss door. Like, the boss door, flanked by the 2 blue lamps here, is dead ahead. This is like Dark Souls meets Zelda, basically. I really quite like the Chalice dungeons. Now, oh, straight through the world. This is not a randomly generated dungeon. You gain the ability to, like, auto-generate procedurally generated dungeons after you clear a basic Chalice dungeon of each style. So I think once we're through with all the Thumerian Labyrinth, like, fixed content, we will gain the ability to randomly generate Thumerian Labyrinth dungeon layers for ourselves. Now, these things, for the record, are what pass for Thumerians here. Well, not really Thumerians, but they're like the Labyrinth Guardians, and are, again, kind of special enemies that you won't find outside the Labyrinth. They're quite similar to Hollows, in fact, aren't they? Maybe a bit more tall and gaunt and looking maybe even less human than did the Hollows. More humanoid. Well, no, hold on. We're going to go down this little tunnel first. Oh, it's a Snatcher. Wow, wasn't expecting to see one of these so early. But we know how to deal with them, don't we? For this Chalice dungeon, since we gained access to it immediately after the Bloodstarved Beast, our weapon should be pretty strong. Doesn't mean it's gonna be a cakewalk or anything, but means everything here should be manageable at the very least. Molotov cocktail. Oh, here we have a bunch of smaller rats. Like, a bunch of them. No, these are regular rats, my bad. But, like, a ton of them. Ooh! Well, we were able to rally to get most of our health back without having to lose a blood vial, and we are collecting blood vials and bullets pretty steadily. That's a good sign. Coins, okay, bullets, nice. There's like little treasures like these scattered all around the Chalice dungeons. Oh, this guy just arose out of the pool of blood. That, I guess, can happen sometimes? No real threat. He wasn't buffed or anything, I don't think. Now we want to climb up to the perilous trapped walkway using the ladders outside this little cavern in order to navigate the labyrinth proper. Oh no, I thought there was something like an enemy moving over here, but it was just the Snatcher's ragdoll spazzing out. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, this is bringing back some Hand of Fate memories, eh? Hand of Fate and Crash Bandicoot. Oh, hell! Wow. I was not expecting that. They attacked me with a poison throwing knife. And, yeah, we might actually have to use one blood vial there, unfortunately. Was not expecting that at all. Something died, I have no idea what, but something did. There we go. My god, you guys. Okay, I'll use one more blood vial, because, again, what we get from this place is going to be worth it. we'll also get more than enough echoes to buy a world's worth of blood blood vials. So the bell-ringing woman, she is responsible for summoning all of these red specters in. You take care of the bell-ringing woman, all of the specters dissipate. They can also appear outside of the labyrinth, if you are attempting to summon in multiplayer or cooperative partners. While your bell of summoning is ringing, you have a chance of accidentally calling in one of the bell-ringing women. Oh, and here's one of the guardians, or the wardens, I think they're called. The giant, like, blubbery, oddly shiny-looking ogre creatures. They are usually guarding the switches, or we need to flip, or, yeah, in order to access the boss room, and this one here is no exception. He's got a club. Some variants have ranged weapons like shotguns, I think, and some have, like, massive maces, but that one isn't too bad. Down he goes. He gave us some ritual blood, which we can use to create later, more advanced chalice dungeons. We just flip the switch, and we get a notification telling us that the boss door is open. Now, if I remember correctly, the first boss of the chalice dungeon, despite not having the most health in the world, can be kind of tricky, actually. Oh, damn it! That was stupid. Again, sorry, some of this is because, as I said, due to blood sugar issues and the like, I've just been kind of out of it. We should do fine, though. If we head right on over here, the boss room should be open now. And yes, it is. Most of the bosses we'll fight here are unique, like this undead giant with his terrifying dual blades. I don't know if we can stun him or not. I know that we can, like, burst those pustules on his legs to, like, wound him. You know, like a lot of big bosses. Like so. And my god, are those pustules really vital to his health, apparently. Notice all the candles on his back, though, almost like he's meant to be some kind of walking altar or monument. How's about a Molotov? Yeah, you don't like that, do you? Oh, hit another weak spot. That's him down. Prey slaughtered. So for our victory, we get some bloodstone shards and a moderately powerful gemstone. I will take it. Oh, and a lamp, of course. And of course we can warp back to these lamps anytime in these dungeons, in the event that we want to progress, or, farm certain areas, without progressing, I should say. And this brings us down to the second layer of the labyrinth. I think per dungeon, there's usually fixed dungeon, there's like 3 layers. So there's our boss door. Oh, hello. Whoa! I'm not used to them just exploding like that. Or exploding into existence like that, I should say. So So there's a bell-ringing woman we need to find and put a stop to. Something waiting for us up here? You can tell that this was a very ornate, like, kind of lavish area. Actually, probably quite a nice place when it was first constructed. Well, hold on. If they're coming from this direction, that means perhaps the woman's somewhere over here as well? Oh, these are normal, like, guardians. Maybe she's in here. The women are normally near the boss switch as well, I want to say, or the boss room switch. Yeah, there she is. There we go. Phew. Each layer of the dungeon, too, is typically pretty short and sweet. There's one of the big guys with a mace. We'll take care of him in a minute. Plenty of treasure left unclaimed in these earlier sections because we were trying to run down the bell-ringing woman. Blood vials, nice. As you can see, most of the enemies around here aren't too tanky. A lot of that's because, again, we're very slightly over-leveled for this dungeon, probably, maybe. But also, Chalice dungeon enemies, while they have really respectable damage output, even by Bloodborne standards, don't tend to have the most health, in my experience. Another one? Where on earth is she? Or did she respawn in the boss switch room? We've also got a snatcher here. But also a chest. Oh, a very weak snatcher, wow. Or frail at the least. Hey, I won't complain. Some potent ritual blood. Good. They're giving us the components we'll need to access deeper dungeons as well, provided we actually explore properly around here. Speaking of, I think we missed a room a bit earlier on. Didn't we? Yeah, over here. Whoa. Couple of, oh, these guys might have fallen from... Yeah, we were up there a minute ago. So nothing over here aside from a trap, I suppose. Jeez. These dungeons can be tricky, of course. They are massive, like, treasure vaults. Constructed by ancient, and in most cases, eldritch civilizations. The Pthumerians are actually really, really central to Bloodborne's actual plot, but we won't really be treating with their involvement at length for some time. Probably the next stream or two we'll be talking a lot about Pthumeru and the Pthumerians. Alright, so this guy's going to come cartwheeling at us. And then, yeah, do that. Oh my god. I thought I remembered them being easy to parry, but they're not. Fortunately, they don't seem to have the most health in the world. And down you go. Blood gemstone, thank you. Don't even want to question why he was naked. That variant, I think, almost always is. Or might actually always be the mace carriers. I've got no idea why. So we've cracked our boss door. And I'm okay with using blood vials now because we're going to make more than enough echoes to, as I said, buy a couple dozen without actually losing much in the way of progress when it comes to leveling and developing our character. So our boss here is a little different. It's just 3 of those big, like, kind of blubber homunculi, one of which I think has a ranged weapon, 2 of which had the standard club. Or vice versa. They don't have the most health in the world. This is basically like, what if the Shadows of Yharnam were a mini-boss, which is exactly what these guys are. It's a perfectly solid fight, and an opportunity to allow players to get used to this new enemy type they'll be seeing a fair amount of, but probably haven't yet. Or haven't got much experience with yet, I should say. The Chieftain is the one with the blunderbuss, I want to say. No, it's the guy with the club and the club and the lantern, so the standard one, more or less. And down goes the Chieftain. Just the standard Watcher left. Ooh! He's actually willing to trade blows with us using that lantern. That is... Oh, and the blunderbuss. Okay, gotta give him some credit there. But down he goes. And for our trouble, we get the Thimeru Root Chalice. This is what allows us to randomly generate dungeons in this style. And another Blood Gemstone. Very nice. We've got one more level in this dungeon, and I think we have just enough time to tackle it. Oh wait, no, there's a lamp rising out of the ground over here, right? Or no? No, just notes. Okay. Here's our lamp. So typically at the end of these 3-stage dungeons, there's like a quote-unquote big boss, like something a bit more atypical and frightening and mechanically complex than what we see elsewhere. Oh, there's actual NPCs we can summon even here. That's nice. A lot of the game's summonable NPCs were added along with Valter and the League after launch. I want to say there weren't any summonable NPCs for boss content and the like early on in the game, but I could be wrong. Oh, look what it is! Nice. Our old buddy, the Centipede Tree, is still getting work, and it's got cannon backup. So this whole stage is like a giant, deranged botanical garden. I quite like the design, actually. It's a very refreshing change of pace from the 2, like, kind of enclosed tomb-like stages we've just come from. Blood Gemstone, very nice. We're gonna have to drop the bell ringer, as usual, before we can really explore at our leisure, but I want to silence the cannon before anything else. Unless one of these guys was actually operating the cannon, that'd suck. Ritual blood. Oh no, it's just one of the regular hollows. Oh, but there might be other bell-ringing women? Or that one was summoned, like, because I triggered a flag or something like that? Pity there isn't a cannon I can use to just, like, snipe down the tree, isn't there? Oh, there's two of them. Well, if our experience with the Snatcher was anything to go by, though, maybe they're a bit more frail. Not weaker, certainly, but a bit more frail than the one at Bergenworth. Also very easy to just sneak around. A little bit. Okay, down it goes. You don't get quite as many echoes from enemies in the Chalice dungeons, I guess to keep them from being so easily exploitable for, like, power leveling, but you get enough. One more, maybe? These thrust attacks really seem to do a number on those trees. Oh, what did it drop? An arcane, or like arcane haze? Maybe that, that's some kind of ritual material we need to use to create more challenge dungeons, I'm guessing? Did we clear everything out down here? Looks like it. Oh, save you. Right. Got some blood vials for us, please? No, ritual blood. I'll take it. And did this one drop another arcane haze? Oh, two of them. Nice. So I'm guessing, since I'm seeing another walkway over there, this central hall is most or all of the actual level here. Again, I have very faint memories of the Chalice dungeons aside from the bosses, and I've never actually completed all of the standard Chalice dungeons. Maybe half of them, something like that? Oh, this thing. It might be harmless. I don't know. Gave us plenty of bullets, so it was worth it. Soulsborne, friends, trust nothing. We'll get to the ladder in a minute. Oh, well, there's our boss switch. So he's got a giant, like, red-hot club. They love whacking us with those damn lanterns. Got him, though. I think it's pretty rare for more than one of those guys to appear in a given level where there's, reeks of blunt attack. Oh, that's funny. Well done. Rare to see more than one of the Watchers in an area where there's, not a group of them serving as a mini-boss or what have you. Give me just a second, gotta rattle off a text message, then we can take on the boss. There we go, sorry about that, guys. Okay. I think the ladder will take us up to that uppermost level of the botanical garden, where there's probably just going to be, like, ritual materials and loot. Obviously nothing for actual, like, dungeon progression. There's gotta be something that's gonna jump me here, right? No, just some blood vials. That's oddly charitable. I just love exploring the environments here. They're so well crafted, and even without a lot of explicit storytelling, these areas are just brimming with personality. And I can promise you, the non-Thumerian, oh, we got some tomb mold. We will be needing a lot of that, believe you me. The non-Thumerian Chalice dungeons, while they follow a similar layout, they look nothing like this, for the most part. Is there anything up here? Well, there's this guy. Maybe up here? So it's an elevator back down to the bottom level, but there has to be something up there, right? Huh. Maybe not? Or maybe there is and I just totally missed it? One or the other? No, that looks like it might be it. Just a shortcut back down to the boss, I guess. Kind of, sorta. Well, we'll take it. And then tackle the actual boss here, which is, somewhere. It can get kind of easy to get turned around in the Chalice dungeons. Which I guess is part of the design. They're meant to be kind of labyrinthine, obviously. It was up here, right? Yeah. Alright, let's give this the old college try. As you can see, we've got a significantly more ornate corridor leading up to the boss room this time. Along with, oh, whatever this is. Like another lamp or something? No, it's a whole second branch of the dungeon, maybe. Oh, boy! Yeah, so, like, additional loot. Never gonna say no to that. Once the Snatchers get irritated and buff themselves with, like, that black blood aura, they become much faster, and I believe stronger as well, but they definitely break out a much more challenging moveset to deal with. There's a statue of one of the messengers. That was close. More of these guys. Ooh. Fire paper, that could come in handy, actually. We're nearing the end, I'd imagine. What exactly was the Snatcher guarding? Since we know there are like pressure plate traps around here, I'm going to try to avoid standing in the middle of hallways or pathways. Just a couple guardians in here with some loot? Suppose so. Bullets. Bold Hunter's Mark, okay. Molotovs. Alright, getting a nice, healthy little war chest of supplies built up. Here's the balcony overlooking that area we were just in. And, well, hey, we've got loot. Blood vials, to be specific. Blood vials and a massive chest. Down goes the warden. And in the casket here, what have we? A ton of ritual blood. But it also sounded like something may have summoned in to attack us? Maybe? No? No, we good. Ready to take on the actual boss of this dungeon then, and get, as a reward, generally, you receive the next chalice, or fixed dungeon chalice in that particular dungeon chain. So we'll get the second of 3 Thimeru fixed chalices. I want to say there are also 3 Hintertomb and Lauren chalices, but there's only 1 fixed Eyes challenge. Eyes, I believe, is an insanely long and difficult dungeon that I've never actually played through myself. But that's all going to change on stream here. We will be doing all of the fixed Chalice dungeon content as long as I can actually, you know, access it. Wait, no, we want this door. Here we go. And this will spit us out right at the boss door. Any advice? Giant beast. Physical attacks effective, no mercy for blobby things. Okay. Trying to remember what this one is. Oh yeah, I was afraid of this. It's the watchdog of the Old Lords. It is a gigantic eldritch hellhound, basically. Fast moves and fire attacks are its specialty. And while it has pretty low defense, I recall, yeah, like this. And we can cause it to bleed flame. Very cool. It deals damage like you wouldn't believe. So it's got, like, sort of a kind of deformity, or deformation of the skull similar to amygdala. But it also otherwise looks a bit like a cross between, well, a dog and some kind of salamander. Oh, I need to remember it does that every time it gets back up. I don't know if the damage bonus for the whip for beast-type enemies applies here. I hope. Uh-oh. Here it goes. Oh, it's getting hotter and hotter. Joy. Now, unusually for these type of, like, we'll just say kind of wolfen or canine bosses in a Soulsborne game, this guy has really lengthy recovery times on a lot of his attacks. I want to say he's weak to electricity, like a lot of things associated with the eldritch creatures in this game, but we didn't need it. He's down. A really cool boss, and again, very visually intimidating. Look that he explodes into flame instead of blood when he dies. That's a nice touch. We get a fire gemstone, of course. and the Central Thimeru Chalice, which will allow us to delve a little bit deeper into this very, very elegant catacomb. We got more than enough money for more than enough blood vials to allow us to take on Bergenworth's boss, but unfortunately, ladies and gents, due to a bunch of work and a couple more emails that have come through during this stream, we're going to have to hang it up for today. Thank you all so much for joining, whether you've been active in Twitch chat or you're catching this after the fact as a VOD on YouTube. I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me this afternoon. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll be coming back at you very, very soon with more Bloodborne. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day.